Let me ask you something uncomfortable. What if the system you've spent your entire life trying to succeed in was never actually designed for you to win? Not for your freedom, not for your dreams, not for your future, but for someone else's. I know that sounds crazy, but give me 8 minutes. Because once you actually see this, you'll never look at school the same way again. Think about everything school actually trains you to do. Show up at a specific time or get in trouble. Sit in a seat you didn't choose. Raise your hand before you speak. Do the task that's assigned, not the one you're interested in. Don't question the teacher. Follow the syllabus. Get the grade. Repeat. Bro, that's not education. That's a job training program. And here's the wild part. It works perfectly because that's exactly what most companies need. Someone who shows up on time, sits down quietly, follows instructions without questioning, completes the task, collects the paycheck, and repeats it for 40 years. School isn't preparing you for your life. It's preparing you for someone else's business. And the better you are at school, the better trained you are to be a high-level employee, not a builder, not a creator, not someone who owns their own time, an employee. Think about this. Elon Musk didn't learn rocket science from a school syllabus. He taught himself by reading books when he was 12 years old because he was obsessed, not because it was assigned. Mark Zuckerberg didn't build Facebook because a teacher told him to. He built it because he had a problem and he couldn't stop thinking about how to solve it. The most successful people in the world weren't the best students. They were the most obsessed builders. And school never once teaches you how to build. Now, I want to be honest with you here. If you want to become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a scientist, yeah, you need those grades. You can't hustle your way into a surgery room. That's just reality. But let's talk to the other 90% of you. You're sitting there stressed about a history test, heart racing over a chemistry paper. Your entire mood for the week depends on a percentage on a piece of paper. And I want to ask you, why? In 5 years, nobody is going to ask you what you scored on your grade 10 biology test. Not your future boss, not your clients, not anyone. That grade lives in a file that nobody opens after you graduate. But here's the real damage grades actually do. You start believing the grade is you. 90%, you tell yourself you're smart. 60%, you tell yourself you're a failure. But that percentage doesn't measure how creative you are, how well you connect with people, how resilient you are when life knocks you down, how well you solve real problems. It measures one thing only, how well you memorized information for 45 minutes under pressure. That's it. I've seen straight-A students hit 22 with a perfect transcript and zero ability to make money, handle rejection, or build anything from scratch. And I've seen the kid who got C's, who spent his weekends building a skill, outperform all of them. Not because he was smarter, because he learned how to actually do things instead of just memorizing them. Here's the deepest problem with school that nobody talks about. School trains you to wait for permission. You can't move to the next chapter until the teacher says so. You can't take a different approach to the problem. You can't skip the subject you hate and go deeper in the one you love. Everything requires permission. And after 12 years of this, most people carry that into their adult life. They wait for a promotion before they believe they're ready. They wait for someone to give them an opportunity before they start something. They wait for permission to take a risk. They freeze. Because nobody ever taught them how to move without someone telling them to. And the people who actually win in the real world? They stopped waiting. They went and learned the things school never taught them. How to sell an idea. How to communicate so people actually listen. How to manage money. How to fail and keep moving anyway. how to think for themselves. The real world doesn't reward how well you follow instructions. It rewards how well you create value when there are no instructions. Now, before you screenshot this video and show it to your parents saying, "See, school is useless," stop. Because that's not what I said. And if that's how you heard it, you need to hear this part even more. If you're failing school and you have nothing else going on, no skill you're learning, no project you're working on, no discipline in your daily life, you're not a rebel. You're not enlightened. You're just avoiding hard work and using this as your excuse. Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard. Not out of ninth grade because he was too busy gaming. He dropped out because he was already building something bigger than what Harvard could offer him. That's the difference. If you can't sit down and focus for 2 hours to study, how are you going to build a business for the next 10 years? The discipline is the same. The hard work is the same. The only thing that changes is what you're applying it to. Do the minimum to pass. Keep your options open. And then spend every extra hour building something real. That's the actual cheat code. I'll give school one thing it actually gets right. Discipline. Showing up when you don't feel like it. Meeting a deadline when you're exhausted. Handling pressure and still delivering. Dealing with people you don't like. That transfers to real life, not the quadratic formula, not the causes of World War I, not the periodic table, but the habit of showing up that matters everywhere. So take that from school. Use school to practice showing up, and use your free time to practice actually building. I want you to picture something 5 years from now. The stress of this week completely gone? You don't remember the name of the test that kept you up until 2 a.m. You don't remember the formula. You don't remember the grade. You're standing in the real world, and nobody is handing you a rule book. Nobody is telling you exactly what to do next. No teacher, no syllabus, no grade. And in that moment, the only thing that matters is what you can actually do. Can you solve real problems? Can you lead people? Can you stay disciplined when nobody's watching? Can you build something out of nothing but your own mind? That is your real report card, and it's being written right now, every single day, not just during finals week. So go pass your exams, show up, do the work. Don't use this as an excuse to be lazy. But the second you walk out of those school doors, flip the switch. Stop being a student, start being a builder. Because the most important exam you will ever take in your life isn't sitting on a desk in a classroom. It's in the choice you make tonight when you put your phone down. Are you going to rot? Or are you going to start becoming the person you were actually supposed to be? The clock is already ticking. And it didn't wait for your exams to finish. If this hit different, subscribe. Because somebody has to keep saying the things school never will. And that's exactly what we do here.